this is a percentage of the population that is real, Jeffrey.
Yes.
What does this look like if they try to bring this stuff back? To me, it looks like the cities are just going to be a living hell, that they'll do it and no one else will. Or am I crazy?
Part of the problem is that these, even just if it's 20%, they can cause havoc because they can stand outside the stores and see who's not wearing a mask. Then they call the local media up, and the media is always looking for a story, which will contact the health department, which will show up to the management, and then the reporters will show up and shame the guy for failing to enforce mask mandates. So 20% of the population that's insane can cause a great deal of problems. And I know a lot of your viewers, and I'm among them, I'm over here saying, I will not comply, will not comply. The problem is that sometimes, if you've got 20% of the public, it's basically the red guard of the COVID lockdowns, they can force compliance on the part of everybody else. So it's not as if, it's going to be so easy.
Good grief. Okay, you have a piece up in the Epoch Times talking about religious institutions and COVID. And I'll tell you, I'm glad you wrote it because it's a great piece, and it's something that really, really, really hit me as I watched this country succumb to COVID mania. Was how many churches in my area, my church, we're shut down, we're done. But it's amazing to me.
Amazing. And on Easter, right? Easter, they shut it down.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we can't allow people to celebrate the resurrection of our Lord, because there's a pathogen on the loose. Unbelievable. So they gave in massive numbers of mainline churches and congregations in this country gave in to the state authorities and all this stuff, trusted all the pseudoscience, and denied people access to public worship of their religious faith in a time of great panic and sadness all around. Thereby exacerbating the psychological and spiritual breakdown of the country. Part of the point of my article is I really tried to chronicle all the people who didn't do that. And what I noticed and tried to document in this article is it was what you would consider sort of the more hardcore religions, the people who actually really take their religion really seriously, that never gave in, So it was the Hasidim in New York and the Amish and the traditionalist Catholics, the Latin Mass going people, the break off Mormon sects. And, these people who their faith, for people for whom their faith is the core of how they live. And for them, there's a God much higher than government itself. And they did their best to continue practicing their religion, as they always had. And they got in grave trouble with the national media. And I think it's really interesting to me. I'm also intrigued about all the number of church leaders in this country, the mainline churches, and I include here the Catholic bishops too, but many others who have yet to sort of acknowledge their role in denying public worship to their parishioners and supporters who've been supporting them for sometimes, in many cases, for generations to perpetuate the faith, and then they just absolutely betrayed them at the very moment when they were needed the most. It's an outrage. And to me, church leaders in this country just need to apologize. That's what we're missing right now, is a great reckoning. And that's why this is a threat again, right? We have not yet seen a reckoning. We haven't seen the public health officials apologize and say they were wrong. We haven't seen the politicians apologize and say that they're embarrassed that they went along with this whole thing. We've not heard any apologies from the labor unions for having denied the kids 2 years of education and setting them back to the point of illiteracy. We've not seen any apologies from the big box stores for enjoying their monopolistic privileges over small business, and we've not seen any apologies from church leaders for what they did to Americans in denying them their religious liberty.
Yeah, then I gotta be honest, I don't want to be Debbie Downer. Hard to see that reckoning ever coming when all the politicians except for Trump kept their job. Every lockdown politician except for Trump kept their job. All the public health officials got promoted and got rich. All the pastors are still sitting there at the pulpit. So why would there be a reckoning? No one seems to care except for you and me. Jeffrey, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it.
It's always good to be here. Thank you so much.